If you clicked on this video, you probably resonated a little bit with the spiritually unsung hero phrase. And therefore, this video is definitely for you. This video is for you if you've been working on yourself for a long time, if you've been awake for a long time, and you're still struggling. You're still struggling. You're not finding the life that you want. You're not getting the recognition that a part of your soul maybe wants. I'm going to be explaining a bit why this may be happening and acknowledging some of the things that we need to be acknowledged in order to make peace with this so we can move on. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I'm starting to do these large-scale somatic release energy clearings in groups. There's a link in the description below. They're very low ticket, very powerful. We go over different topics each week, and then I'll talk about it for a little bit. We'll do a bunch of somatic release in the body and the nervous system, and then a giant clearing on the energy field so you can call in the gifts that are on the other side of that pattern, whatever it may be. Okay. So I want to start by talking about the process of awakening and some of the things that I notice in terms of people creating the lives that all of us want. It's never a good thing to compare and contrast, but let's be honest, we all do it, okay? We all do it a little bit. And one of the things that I've seen, and some of this is my presumption, some of it is not, there are a lot of people on the awakening path who are maybe a little bit younger, in their 20s, maybe younger souls, who kind of woke up during COVID time, and they're already all over like social media, doing really well, making lots of money, living these amazing lives. And that's great. That's amazing. I am in no way demeaning what they've gone through, what they've been through, what their lessons are, or what their missions are. My point is this, though. I know, because I'm one of them, but I know people who woke up decades ago. I know people who have been going through massive trauma, transformation, spiritual awakening stuff for years that still aren't anywhere near that successful, still haven't necessarily called in that level of, manifestation or abundance. And you may be one of these people. And if you are, I just want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge how many unsung heroes there are out there that work in the background doing jobs that are so freaking difficult a lot of people can't imagine and have not yet really been recognized for it. It's a very hard thing to do. Nobody can tell what it is that you're carrying or what it is that you've been through, and most of them aren't going to credit it, and sometimes the reality doesn't credit it because I don't want to say it's unfair. It's not unfair. We all sign up for these lives. I'm not trying to bring anyone into victim consciousness. We all need to take full responsibility. But a lot of times what we sign up for, we don't really know what we're getting into. And then we get all this extra stuff tacked on, and it's so unbearably difficult that we can't get into the frequency range of the life that we want. Whereas someone else who just took on a couple small things, within a few years will click into that frequency, their life's amazing. You've got 4,000 times more stuff, but no one can tell. You've worked through 3,000 of the 4,000, which 100 of which would have broken this person into pieces, and you're still not there yet because you're not fitting into that space in our reality that only takes into account the moment, because that is how it works. And yet we've been programmed for so many eons. There's so many different aspects of our reality and our consciousness that aren't really seen. They're behind the scenes. Can you relate to this? Have you been like clearing your ancestral trauma like for 20 years? and having a hard time getting out of bed and going to work, and partners bounce off and the money bounces off, and it's excruciatingly difficult, and you haven't really been recognized. You're probably an older soul. You're probably an older soul who, you know, took on a lot. And I've been through this myself, and I can get frustrated. I can get frustrated with seeing other people go like this. It's not that I'm not happy for them, it's just like I've been doing this for 17 years, and it's so freaking difficult when people can't see what you're carrying. I watched the show a couple years ago. It's called The Adventures of Merlin, and it was on BBC. And it was around 2009 to 2014. The first couple years were pretty good, and then it got really good after that. But anyway, it follows Merlin when he was a kid, right? So he comes into King Arthur's court. It's not King Arthur yet. It starts as Prince Arthur. And he has magic, and magic is not allowed at that point in time. So he has all these abilities, but he can't be seen for them. And he's assigned to be like Arthur's personal assistant, which is basically that it's his servant. And Arthur's awesome. I mean, it's King Arthur. He's got a lot of skills, a lot of leadership skills, but basically Merlin's job is to watch after Arthur and keep him out of trouble. And you follow Merlin for the whole series, and he is constantly using magic, using his abilities behind the scenes to save Arthur's life. He gets him out of trouble so many times, and no one can ever know. He will go on some mission with Arthur where Arthur needs to go to some like meeting that's supposedly important for the kingdom. The kind of higher up magics will pull Merlin aside, give him some task that involves him basically holding the whole fabric of the reality together that Arthur will never know. He comes back to the meeting, will have to save Arthur's life twice, and then at the end of which it's just like, here, Merlin, clean my boots, clean my armor, scrub the floor, make me dinner. And there's a gift in this. There's a huge gift in this, but there's also a frustration. The gift is it takes a lot of humility to get no credit for what you're doing or the kind of credit that you want to get. Just because you want to be seen or heard or recognized doesn't mean you're egotistical. We all want to be seen and heard and validated. And it is true, like nothing is what it seems on this planet. Nothing is what it seems. Just because someone is out in front of the camera and making a lot of money because they're human, has, a lot of like sales and marketing skills, and you were designed to like do all this shadow work and clean up all the crap that if you weren't doing, like the whole world would fall apart. Like, just because of that doesn't mean that you're not valid or even incredibly gifted, or in some ways maybe more so. It's not a comparison, but it is important to recognize this within yourself, because our reality is designed a bit backwards. You can't tell what someone's carrying. You can't tell the work they're doing multidimensionally. So if this is you, just know that you're very valid. You're very seen and recognized somewhere. I know that clearing your whole ancestral line and collective trauma can be the most thankless fucking job in the world. I spent years unable to even stand up. I was so freaking tired from all this stuff I was transmuting, and I had to work shitty human jobs on top of that. It was unbelievably difficult, and I never got credit for any of it. And again, there's like, the gift is learning to really love and appreciate yourself for no reason, needing no recognition, no validation, no approval whatsoever. Sometimes you just have to know, and that can be incredibly healing. But it's also nice to be seen. So see yourself and know that I don't really like to do these videos where it's like, I see you. There's so many YouTube videos of like, my guides just told me to tell you that, you're on the right track and your manifestation is about to come and you're about to step into the next phase of your life. It's just really generic, fluffy nothingness stuff that feels sort of opportunistic and a little bit manipulative, and it gets 8 million views. And some people mean it, and that's great. I don't generally do that, but I see this a lot in spiritual communities. There's a lot of really old, wise souls that have been beaten to fucking shit. And they don't get a lot of credit for what they're doing. So if you're one of the spiritually unsung heroes, like, I salute you, truly. Anyway, I hope this helped. Thank you. Please feel free to sign up for the energy clearings. I think they could be immensely beneficial. I also have a free book list in the description below if you want to download that as well. Other than that, thank you very much. And until next time, bye bye.